Forgive your parents. So many of us are holding resentment from our childhood or maybe just our lives in general towards our parents, but not knowing that your parents, your mom, your dad, whoever, they did the best they could with what they've known. Maybe they weren't always as loving as they needed to be. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they were still learning. Maybe they were just unequipped. Maybe their parents let them down. And it becomes a vicious cycle. But when you hold on to that resentment, that anger, and you're not forgiving, not only is it unfair to them, but it's unfair to you because you're holding all this hate, even if it's not actual hate, but you're hating all this resentment, this hate, this anger, and it's not allowing you to live your life because you're not able to move freely. You're not able to embrace your life and take accountability for the things that you can take accountability of because you're blaming them. You're blaming them for their shortcomings when they were learning too. Maybe their parents didn't teach them the necessary things that they needed to know. Maybe they lacked the same thing that you're complaining or arguing that you lack because of them. So is it truly their fault? In a sense, it could be, but in a sense, it's not. Because unless you've been taught properly, it's hard for you to teach properly. So there's an argument that they were doing the best that they could. And honestly, that's the good thing. That's the best that they can do as long as they were present. And you have to forgive them because they might not have been, like I said, they might have not had the love and care that they needed. They weren't taught what they needed. They weren't equipped to go into an adulthood. Maybe some of them weren't even ready. Maybe, it wasn't, they weren't really planning to have you. And not saying that in a negative way, but they could have took alternative actions and they didn't. And now you're here and you're alive and your life might not be where you want it to be. But now if you're an adult, it's time for you to take responsibility. It's time for you to take accountability and still pay it forward, even if you have that little bit of resentment. But I encourage you to let it go, to stop blaming them, especially now if you're an adult, because what good does it do? Like, who's it helping? It's not helping them. It's not helping you. And it's not going to help your future kids if you choose to have kids or if you already have kids. So why keep hanging on to that resentment when it's time to let it go and grow and go through, everything you went through was for you to grow, and understanding that and still being blessed that you have a parent, a mom or a dad, whether, maybe you were a single, grew up from a single parent, like still be glad in that. And then for those of you that didn't have a present parent, that's okay as well. It's unfortunate, but maybe you didn't have one parent or maybe you didn't have both parents. Maybe you grew up in a foster home or an orphanage or something like that. Still be blessed for those that were there for you, the guardians that did take care of you, or the people that still led you or became parent-like figures, that became a father figure, that became a mother figure. And know that God has a reason to have allowed that, and, figure out why it is. And you never know what impact that was meant to have on you so that you can have impact on others and you can do things that help others get through certain situations. But still forgive your parents, not because they always need it, not for approval reasons or anything like that, but for you, so that you're free. You're able to stop using that as an excuse in your life of why things aren't working out or why you're not where you want to be or why your education, financial levels, and career path or love life or whatever it might be isn't where you want it to be. And start taking accountability. If you're over the age of 18 years old, your life is yours. It doesn't matter how your parents were. It don't matter if you had the best parents in the world or the worst parents in the world or no parents in the world. You're 18, it's time to grow up. It's time to mature. It's time to say, this is my life and I'm going to do with my life what I want to do with my life. I'm not going to say my childhood affected me. I'm not going to say my parents affected me. I'm not going to say the world or society. Do all those things have an effect to a certain extent? Yes. But now that you know and you can acknowledge it, you can change it. So stop blaming those things and say, I'm going to take life the way I want. I'm going to take life by the horns and control it. That's what that means. I'm going to take responsibilities going forward of my actions, of my thought process, of how I approach things, of how I want to live my life physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, relationally. What do I want to accomplish? What do I want my life to look like the rest of my life? How do I want to feel about myself when I look in the mirror, when I'm in my own thoughts, when I'm whatever it might be? And do that. So stop blaming your parents, because It does no good. It's unfair to them. It's unfair to you. Release it. If your dad wasn't in your life, or your mom wasn't in your life, or your parents were addicted to alcohol or drugs, or whatever it might be, forgive them. Even if you're still mad at them or something like that, let it go. Let that hate go. Let that anger go. Let that resentment go. And just know what not to do for your kids if you choose to have kids. Say, I'm never going to make my kids live without me in their life. And make that your purpose. Make that the learning lesson. Make that what God taught you. Because you can still take good out of bad situations. And same thing for those that, maybe your parents were just taking from you. Maybe they were, they passed away early. Like, obviously you don't have to forgive them for that, but, use that as a way to grow and be like, well, I was meant to learn something, and now I can be a voice for others like me. So many people look inside, they're like, why is me? Why is life doing this to me? Why is God doing this to me? Maybe you're meant for more. And when you're meant for more, your life isn't always going to be sunshine and rainbows early on. It's just not. You have to know that bad things happen to you so that you're revealed certain things, revealed certain secrets, certain missions, certain things that unlock your mind, make you stronger, make you wiser. But that comes from pain. That usually comes from not good things happening. And I'll use pop culture. Batman's parents was killed, and he still became great. He still went and did things. Now, were they billionaires and rich and all that? Yes. But he could have chose to just been victim or become a hero. So will you become a hero, or will you stay a victim? The choice is yours. Forgive your parents because maybe they didn't know better. Forgive your parents because maybe they weren't ready. Forgive your parents because maybe they weren't taught how to love and become a parent. Maybe they weren't equipped. Maybe they weren't a lot of things. But if they were still in your life, even if they weren't the best, forgive them, appreciate them, and know what to do going forward if you become a parent. This was Consistency Day 329. I hope you got something from this message. I hope it encouraged you. I hope it challenged you. I hope it made you think different. And if it did any of those things, please like, share, comment, subscribe for more. And other than that, I wish you all peace and blessings on the journey.